Cameron, I know you've got a big game of your own, but I wonder what you made of your former club and former manager winning the Europa League last night.
Yeah, no, it was good. Obviously, I watched the game. The game probably wasn't the greatest from an entertainment standpoint, but yeah, I think it's massive for obviously Tottenham getting a trophy and for Ange as well. He said he always wins in his second season, and he's done that, so I'm happy for him.
I think you know the man obviously, and you'll have seen then it's not been an easy ride this season. He's particularly pleased for him as a man to get it done.
Yeah, I think so because when he left here, obviously as players we were disappointed, but I think the majority of us enjoyed working with him and kind of wanted the best for him. So yeah, like you said, their Premier League season hasn't been great, and obviously that's something that them and him will have to work on going forward. But for him to get over the line in a cup competition is great for him and does kind of show what he can do.
Not a bad quote that, is it, about winning in his second season?
I know, yeah, it'll definitely go down in history. It's a good one, yeah.
Anyway, like we said, you've got a big game of your own. You now have racked up a lot of trophies here at Celtic. How does it feel to be potentially 90 minutes away from another treble?
Yeah, good. And we know the work's not done yet. We've still got 90 minutes and possibly 120 minutes to get over the line and get another trophy. But for us, we're fully focused on that game now, and all our kind of energy and our thought process is going into that.
Cameron, you've won so many trophies since you've been here at Celtic. This will be another treble. Would winning on Saturday make this the best season since you've been here as a club, considering you've won all three and you had progress in Europe as well?
Yeah, it's a tough one to kind of pick from. I think different seasons are good for different reasons. Obviously, last year, we started out front of the league and kind of got caught up, and then kind of a good little battle towards the end of the season, which is always nice to kind of get them kind of leagues over the line. But yeah, if you're looking at performance-wise, I would probably say this is probably one of the better ones. With, like you said, progression in Europe. I thought we had some good performances in that, and then yeah, if we win the treble, that's kind of the best you can do domestically. So yeah.
What's key on these big games, these big occasions at Hampden Park? What gets you over the line? I
think it's just going in there, kind of a clear mindset, and playing the game, not necessarily the occasion. And yeah, just always have the understanding that at the end of the day, whatever's on the line, it's a football match which we've all played in lots of them before, and it's about just doing the things we've been doing all season.
What do you expect from Aberdeen? Because if you look over the last 2 years, you've had games where you beat them easily at Hampden in the League Cup semi-final. Just a few weeks ago, you beat them quite comfortably at Todbury, but then there's been tighter games. Remember the Scottish Cup semi-final last season went all the way to penalties with Joe Hart taking one, everyone remembers that. What do you expect from the Dons?
Yeah, again, it's hard to say. I think cup games are unique in the sense that, for whatever reason, nothing always goes 100% to plan in cup games. They're always a bit difficult. So we're expecting, a difficult challenge, and we expect them to be right up for it, and we'll have to be the same.
The mentality of this squad at Hampden, though, how important can that be? You've had so much success there, almost like a second home in that sense. Can that help?
I think it definitely helps being kind of familiar with the stadium and surroundings and stuff like that. You feel a bit more comfortable when you arrive. But in terms of how that kind of translates to the game, I don't think too much. Like I said, I think every cup game, especially semi-finals and finals, are all different and unique. And we got to know that and kind of know that whatever we've done in the past doesn't really matter. And it's about how we perform on the day.
How unique were the celebrations last year when Ida scored very late on in this final?
Yeah, no, I mean, great celebrations. Probably more relief from a lot of our guys than anything. But yeah, I mean, that's the beauty of competition. They throw up moments like that where, one goal kind of wins you the cup, and yeah, everyone's celebrating from there.
I guess it never gets old, that cup winning feeling. Does that? I remember Arne Engels saying earlier on in the season, it's almost like a drug, and that you're addicted to sort of winning. Do you get that feeling that success within the cups is huge for this club?
I think so. Yeah, I think once you've had kind of success and won trophies, and you have that feeling, you don't want to let go of it because like you're saying, it's a feeling that it's hard to describe unless you've done it, but it's one that once you've had it, you want to repeat it as much as possible. So.
Do you go into this differently? Maybe your first cup final here, was that kind of a wee bit of nerves there? Do you just to successfully kind of treat it like like any other game now?
No, I think like I said, I think cup games are always different. Whether that is early on in the cup or later on in the cup. I think you go into every kind of cup game knowing that you perform bad, you're out, and that's your chance gone. So I think every kind of cup game you carry a bit of nerve going into them, but yeah, obviously not nervous to the point where you can't think or can't perform, but you almost want that little bit of nerves there because that does kind of push you on and get you up for the game.